Hello, my name is Sebastian, and I drew every single day for a year straight. In fact, the day of me recording this marks the 1 year anniversary of me starting this personal challenge of mine. Now, the purpose of me recording this is multiple reasons. One of them being for my own sake, my own personal sake, that I wanted to have something more tangible that I can reflect on like how my growth has been over the past year and what's changed and what's not. Secondly, to upload this onto YouTube and maybe people see it, maybe people take an interest, maybe people will relate, or maybe people learn. I don't know. Now, I can imagine a lot of questions being along the lines of, did I burn out during that time? Uh, Short answer is no. No, not really. Um, I already anticipated the probability of burnout being a realistic thing, and so I took things in a structured manner. So originally, when I started doing my little journey of drawing and improvement, I did not want to obviously burn out, so I spent quite a little bit of time on my pieces. So some days I spent half hour, other days an hour, some days 15 minutes. As long as I was drawing and doing something that day, it was it was a win. I guess I should have left off with what were my goals with this. Um, I've been drawing for a very long time since I was about 5, and I was always the art kid growing up at school, and I was really good at the time, really good going through elementary, middle, high, even college. But at some point, it dropped off, and I didn't stay consistent with myself for a period of years. So time passed, and no longer I was special. I saw people all the time improving, getting better, being successful, and doing the things that I actually kind of wanted to do that I thought I would be doing at that time. At one point, it just kind of clicked that I need to take things more seriously. A little bit of background about myself: I am was a traditional artist. I still do traditional art. Like my specialties going to college were painting, drawing with charcoals, pencils, oil paints, a little bit of sculpture with clay and ceramics. So I have very good traditional fundamentals. Uh, but that stuff was expensive, and I didn't like that. So I switched over to Photoshop for a while and started digital painting. Now, if I were to say what my goals were, it was to get back on track first and foremost. Uh, Reinvigorate, you know, my want for improving, creating, and long term make it into a career. Now, did I achieve those goals? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I now do have a renewed drive for wanting to keep improving, developing, doing better. Still don't have a job with it. I do take commissions and do that stuff every now and then, but obviously that's not consistent. Now, I should have prefaced this to say that this is just a culmination of a lot of my thoughts and things I went through, and I'm trying to keep it structured as best I can, but sometimes things are going to be left out, and I feel like I have to bring them in anyway. Now, I guess I get addressed if I was discouraged at any point during all this, because I feel like that's a topic that come up. You see a lot of people that are just generally better than you at certain aspects, and people can tend to get discouraged, especially if like an artist is younger than you. Now, this was the part where I did struggle quite a bit, mostly because it was going back to the fact that I was the special one going up and doing art. Yeah, the one guy that was really good at art. Uh, and then to leave it aside for a while and watch as other people kept going and improved and surpassed me, and now there were a lot of people that were better than me. It was a big hit on my ego, which is probably a good thing. But with this, I just kept pushing through it. I'm thick skinned, thankfully. I know in cases a lot of people would back out and get discouraged. I try not to let that happen. Whenever I got discouraged over a situation, I looked at someone's drawing or piece they were making and see how well they were doing. I kind of tried my best to turn that into inspiration, into creating something and improving myself. And to talk about some of these inspirations and people, who did I learn from? Uh, Honestly, a lot of it's on YouTube, Instagram, ArtStation, Twitter. Probably the foremost person that got me into wanting to get back into drawing and doing the drawing consistently was actually Sam Does Arts. Big surprise. Now, it's kind of ironic because when I first saw the works of Sam Does Art, I actually did not appreciate a lot. I thought it was a little too stylized and not enough realism. That I thought it was like, well, this isn't that good. It's like, oh, I could do better. But some of the pieces did stick out. I was like, that's nice. And I did try to use his pieces as reference material in order to learn, develop my skills. What happens? I try to create something that a professional has done, and it doesn't go the way I thought it would. It was a lot more difficult than I anticipated. And basically, as soon as that started happening, I grew a better appreciation for stylized work. Ross Draws was someone else that was in a similar boat, actually before Sam Does Arts, but at the time I wasn't really compelled to draw too much, although I did follow along with some of his tutorials. Some of the other more prominent artists that I did look up to that I didn't really see much in the ways of tutorials on, but definitely trying to learn their style or, just had them as general inspiration as like great artists were Waloop, Guways, Art of 666K, I believe is his handle, and some other people, of course, but those are just some prominent ones. Now, I guess to spend a little bit of time to talk about what have I learned in the past year. I guess most importantly being that I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Shocker. There was definitely a point where I thought I was really good, especially with fundamentals, especially with paper, pencil, line drawing. And I was really good off of copying reference material and like anatomy. I was pretty good at anatomy. I still think I was at that point. But I did realize I had a very weak mental library of information that was actually retained. I think I had a good sense of like structural anatomy and like how the body is meant to look and where things are meant to be in a sense. But I didn't know how to compose bodies realistically or in perspective, if that makes sense. I'll try to throw up some references what I'm talking about. But that was one of the things that I've learned is like, wow, I'm really not as good as I thought I was. Because not, and that goes back to the discouraging part where, I see other people improving very quickly and they're getting really good. At the same time, I'm realizing I wasn't as good as I thought I was. So now the gap got wider. At this point, I was committed. I wasn't gonna stop. So just developing fundamentals. Uh, and I think they have improved. Definitely, they definitely can get better, as among other things. I guess if I were to pick out a couple things that have improved the most, from my own perspective, it's, well, one being perspective, composition of pieces, the use of color, lighting, especially lighting, and and a better general appreciation for details. I was a very big filling the canvas with like a bunch of nothing. Like I'll put down big structures, but I really wouldn't have gone into like a lot of little nitty gritty details that like make things be more grounded in the piece. A lot of my pieces felt very floaty in the sense that things weren't there. It didn't look real. Even though shading and even though the shading and composition could be good, there's sometimes just not enough details to make something believable. And that's something I'm still improving at, but I think it's gotten better. I guess I can bring up what are my goals now. Um, One thing's for sure is I still do plan on becoming a working professional into some capacity. It could be, I work in an industry, gaming industry, concept art, illustration, whatever. I do have a sort of intended idea for that. And that goes into like me building a more professional portfolio, learning some 3D skills of Blender, which I've already kind of started, but haven't put nearly as much time as I should. Obviously, keep improving on the skills I'm already trying to improve: lighting, composition, color, anatomy, all that. I don't know if I have a style yet, but I can't exactly chase that. It either comes or it doesn't, but I haven't been able to recognize my own style. If you guys do, let me know. If anyone's watching this and you're interested in seeing what I plan on doing for the future in terms of what I plan on doing for next year and making myself into a professional and developing a professional portfolio, let me know. It's something I've been considering wanting to document as well, but ahead of time rather than reflecting in the past. Maybe upload it more on a frequent basis. Now, if I were to give some advice to people that want to do something similar, spend a good portion of time to draw, improve, do all that. Good piece of advice I can give is probably to stay humble. That is probably the best thing I can say. Stay humble. And what do I mean by that? Being humble means that you have room to improve, that you're not the best at anything you do. There's always a bigger fish, and there's always room for improvement. And when I started to realize that is when I can say a lot of my work took off. It kept me more motivated. Being humble made me know for a fact that I wasn't as good as I thought I was, so I didn't have the problem with discouragement as much. And it helped me avoid burnout in the sense that I kept improving over time. Maybe being humble is like the general theme of this recording right here. Is that being humble solved a lot of problems for myself. And maybe it'll solve a lot of problems for other people as well. Well, I guess for anyone's listening, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me know if you do want to see me upload more often or not. It's fine. I hope you guys have a good one. Catch you later.